So you've got an Instant Pot and you're wondering, what the heck can I do with it? Maybe you just got it or it's been sitting in a box for several months, maybe even a year. You know who you are. Today I'm gonna walk you through 5 things that you can make in an Instant Pot or a pressure cooker that might surprise you. From non-dairy yogurt to breakfast to dinner and even a plant-based sandwich meat. This will change the way you look at your pressure cooker. Greetings and welcome to or welcome back to PB with Jay. Here on the channel, we focus on all things plant-based goodness, and a few months back, we did a Instant Pot 101 where I explained, what is a pressure cooker? What are the pros and cons? Will it make your house blow up? Spoiler, no. We went through a lot of common tips and tricks, and if you want a video like that, the link is in the description down below. But what I've had a lot of people asking me for ever since is to show us some of our favorite recipes that also just might change the way that you think about what you can do in an Instant Pot. Did that sentence make sense? The Instant Pot is easily the device that we use the most in the kitchen. I literally have it on delayed start right now for making our taco soup recipe, which is not featured in this video, but you can find it on the channel. We've made it several times. And we've done some other Instant Pot content on here as well. We reviewed Nisha Vora's Instant Pot cookbook, where she really showed you the variety of things you can make in this. Everything from like a cheesecake to a lasagna. Today, I'm gonna walk you through some of the recipes that we make on the regular around here. Feel free to check out the description down below. There's some chapters where you can jump around if you want to. Obviously, I recommend you watch it straight through the first time. Some of these recipes are in our new cookbook, but I'm gonna put them on the screen as well. If you wanna get a copy of our ebook, the link is right here in the QR code thingy mabobber. What are your go-to Instant Pot recipes? And if you wanna send us some, maybe we'll make a video where we show us making all of your Instant Pot recipes. Send them to me here in the email thing, right here. That's the best place to send them. That way I'll put them in a little folder when I got enough. Maybe I'll make a video. Before we jump into these recipes, I'd like to give a quick hello to some of you who have said hello to us in the comments down below. Doris from Maryland, Anthea from Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, 10 minutes away from Valley Forge, Almondina from Perth, Australia, Emma from Northants, England, Suzanne from Buffalo, Norma and her husband from Weyburn, Saskatchewan, Jen from Minden, Nevada, near Lake Tahoe, Anna from New York City, Tracy from the Texas Panhandle, where their temperatures range from 0 to 100 degrees Celsius. Or Fahrenheit. She just said 0 to 100. That probably means it's Fahrenheit. 100 degrees Celsius our planet would be done. I also live in a part of the world where we have severe weather shifts, highs and lows, so I feel you, Tracy. Margie from California, Christine from Whangarei, New Zealand, and Jen from Colorado. If you'd like a shout out here on the channel, all you have to do is say hello in the comments down below. Let us know who you are, where you're watching from, and do you have a go-to Instant Pot recipe? Again, send it to us. And if you want to bump up in the shout-out list, consider joining us over in the Mighty Network for a group of like-minded people. You get advanced views of these videos, lots of other great perks, all for the price of a crappy cup of coffee a month. All right, let's get Instant Pottin'.
First, pour the soy milk into the blender, then add a cup of cashews.
Could you use any other nuts?
Probably. I don't know. I haven't tried other nuts.
I'm the only other nut she's tried.
Don't put you in the blender. That'd
What?
be gross. And not plant-based. So put the cup of cashews in the blender and then add a half a cup of yogurt starter. Well, I don't know how much yogurt starter you would use if you bought starter, but you can use either half a cup of plant-based yogurt that you've purchased from the store to use as your starter. You can buy starter, or if you've previously made yogurt, you can use some of your old yogurt, which is what I'm trying for the first time. Usually I've had some store-bought yogurt. I've tried using probiotics, but my probiotics were too old. So you can also buy probiotic capsules and put, probably divide about 4 capsules into the batch. And then you blend it up. I do it for a minute to get it really smooth so that cashews are not chunky. And then I pour it back into jars. I put it in the Instant Pot on the yogurt setting for 14 hours because I like it nice and tangy. What's been happening is it's been thick on top and then there's still some water in the bottom. So we have a yogurt cheese funnel, which I've been using to thicken it. Last time we left it too long and we did end up with kind of more like a cream cheese. So I think what I might do is try just blending a jar and see if when you blend that liquid back in, if it's too runny or not, or pour some of that liquid out and then blend it.
So in the morning, we'll see if this worked.
Yeah.
The next morning.
All right, this is the great test of today. Oh, wow. So you can see that it's thick on top and it's got a lot of liquid on the bottom.
What is that?
It's yogurt. So let's just see.
Ew.
Not ew, stop it.
Sorry, it's just
It tastes good. You should try it when it's all stirred
It
up.
needs to be mixed up.
Put the whey back in. Oh, I think it's gonna be good. You have yogurt.
So don't get freaked out if you see this. It's okay, it just needs to be stirred.
It's quite tangy, so if you like it less tangy, put it in for fewer hours, but I like a good tang.
I find like 30 seconds in an immersion blender makes this like the perfect yogurt consistency, especially once it cools. It's gonna be a little watery right now. Willie likes it really thick. I like it kind of in the middle. So we'll put this in the fridge to cool. Yeah, it made like that much-ish. Grocery stores are full of fake plant-based deli meats, but let me show you how to make one on your own that comes together quickly, freezes well, and saves you a ton of money. The magic ingredient you need for this is vital wheat gluten. This is what's gonna give it the right texture and binding agent. So we're gonna put 1.5 cups of vital wheat gluten into a food processor. We're gonna crumble in 1 package of firm tofu that's been drained. You can just break it up with your hands. It doesn't have to be pretty because the food processor is gonna do all of the work for you. Bloop! Just a giant mountain of crumbled tofu. So this is the base of what we're gonna do, and now it's just about flavoring it. So I'm making what I would call like a turkey deli meat flavor. So I'm gonna pop in a tablespoon of water, a tablespoon of miso paste, a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, a teaspoon of liquid smoke, 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, and 2 teaspoons of onion powder, and then 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of sage, teaspoon of garlic powder, and 2 teaspoons of no salt seasoning. This thing is packed with flavor. I'm so excited. So now we're gonna get this lid on top of here, and we're just gonna let this thing fire up. You're gonna let it continue to mix until it forms a giant ball inside of there. So this formed a little differently than it normally does, but we're gonna make this work anyway. So all we're gonna do now is just form it by hand. So you just wanna get it into the shape of basically a log. You could also form this into sausages or any other shape you want, and you just kind of roll it into the right shape. And it doesn't have to be a perfect log because we're gonna wrap this in aluminum foil. Give it a loose roll because it's gonna expand a bit inside the aluminum foil. And then we're just gonna twist the ends. And then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna place this inside of my pressure cooker with 1 cup of water inside this trivet, and I'm gonna let it steam for 1 hour. So after it steams for 1 hour, you wanna just gently release the tin foil because the steam is gonna start to come up. So now we're gonna let this cool down before we slice it. It's gonna form a little bit of a skin around the edges as it cools, but that's what you want because that's similar to deli meat. It's even got some of the little speckles inside of it. I really love how this turns out. What's beautiful about this is that it lasts for at least a week or 2 inside the fridge, but it freezes beautifully. So you can make a really big loaf and it'll last you for a long time. But how does it taste? For me, this rivals any plant-based deli meat that I bought in a grocery store or even had in a restaurant. But it's even better when you put a little bit of really good mustard on top of it. Save yourself some money and make this yourself. It's so easy. This is great inside of a sandwich. If I didn't already own an Instant Pot, I might buy it for this next recipe alone. And this is probably the reason why I say I use this thing, if not daily, multiple times a week, but honestly, sometimes, usually, more often than not, more than daily. This is my oatmeal that I make most mornings when I'm not having my granola, and sometimes the odd tofu scramble. I know you can make oatmeal a million other ways. You can make it in the microwave, which I don't know why I don't like. You can do it on the stovetop, which I also don't like because I have to sit there and I have to babysit it. What I love about this is I can dump it and walk away, and it makes it perfect every single time. And it also does something else that you can't do when you make oatmeal any of those other ways, which is soften fruit for you. I'm gonna show you because I'm gonna put an apple on top. It's a pretty simple formula here. We're gonna throw in a half a cup of oats. We're gonna throw some cinnamon in and just shift those around so a little bit of cinnamon gets on the oats. We're gonna throw in a tablespoon of flax, both for the health of it, but also because it just has some nice binding principles here. Shake that around. And then we're gonna put in a combo of half a cup of water and half a cup of non-dairy milk. Any will be fine. I just woke up, I haven't had my coffee yet, so words are not there all the way. Okay. And this is the part I love. And I will do this with kind of any fruit like this. An apple's great, but I've done this with grapefruit as well. Slice it like thin-ish and then just pop it on top. And then we're just gonna cook this for 3 minutes. But what I like to do is it's gonna sit for a few minutes after that, and it'll just continue to plump up. So like I'll do this and then I'll go for a walk with the dogs, or I'll have a workout and then a shower. Like I might leave this for a half an hour after I've hit that cook button, and it's totally fine. And when it comes back, I like to put some frozen fruit in there because it helps cool it down a little bit. And it also thaws the frozen fruit. And then I'll top it with probably a small banana or another portion of fruit. I like 3 portions of fruit. And then I will put some nuts on and additional like hemp seeds and stuff like that. If you got an air fryer, you can toast the nuts. It's really nice. But you can really customize it any way you want. But that's my basic morning oats. It is, half a cup of oats, a cup of liquid, 3 servings of fruit, and then probably like 3 tablespoons of seeds and nuts. Probably a quarter cup of seeds and nuts, if I'm honest, really. I used to put dried fruit in, but I don't anymore, just because it's like extra sugar I don't need. And that's my go-to morning oatmeal that if I didn't have an Instant Pot, I don't think I'd eat oatmeal as much as I do. It's so good for you.
If you like Indian food, I'm gonna show you how to make a really quick curry that you can cater to what vegetables you have in the fridge. If you got a pressure cooker, it's ideal to cook it in that. Otherwise, I can show you how to do it on the stove as well. So what I've got today is just a selection of vegetables here. It's a combination of cauliflower, sweet potato, zucchini, and red pepper. 4 to 6 cups is about what you want. And it's nice to mix starch and non-starchy vegetables. So I got a sweet potato in here for the starch, and then just a combination of other things. With that, I'm gonna dump in a can of diced tomatoes, a can of coconut milk, and then a mixture of spices. You can kind of make it your own, but what I've got here is a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder, curry powder, and salt. And then the last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put the red lentils on top. If you stir them in, especially if you're using a pressure cooker, you're gonna get a warning that it is burning, and it probably is, so you don't wanna do that. So we're just gonna rest it on top and pat them in. So for the pressure cooker version, we're just gonna cook this for 5 minutes on manual. If you're doing it on the stove top, you wanna bring it to a boil and then simmer for 25 to 30 minutes until everything is softened. So now that our mixture is all done, we're gonna release it from inside. Ah, look at that. So now we're gonna mash down the vegetables just to get everything a little bit creamier and smoother. And then we're gonna take 2 cups of greens. I'm using spinach here. You could use kale. Anything that's a bit of a sturdier green is ideal. And then you just wanna stir that in just long enough for it to kind of cook down and just get a little wilted. You can serve this on top of some grains. I got some brown rice here. Just put it right on top. And then for a little extra flavor, I like to throw a little bit of cilantro on top. And just a little squeeze of lime juice. And there you go. Kind of what I like to call a bit of a curry in a hurry. It's so creamy. The vegetables just kind of fall apart inside of your mouth. And that lime just adds this really great fresh pop at the end. And the cilantro is nice in there too. All these little flavors mixing together. So that's a really nice, simple curry that you can make in less than an hour on any weeknight. One of my go-to plant-based staples is making soup or stew from scratch, and it's not as hard as you would think. And what's really great about it is that you can use up vegetables in your fridge that are maybe getting close to their expiry date. And you could also just use up any beans, any flavorings. It really is a choose your own stew. I always start with a little bit of onion, so I've already been sauteing that inside the pan. Now we're gonna add our liquid. So I've just got some vegetable broth, a can of diced tomatoes. We're gonna put the whole thing in, liquid and all. Put a cup of tomato sauce, quarter cup of apple cider vinegar. That's gonna add a nice little salt to the dish. A little balsamic vinegar in there. And now I'm gonna put a little bit of maple syrup in here, and what that's gonna do is that's just gonna help the acidity from all the tomatoes in there and just kind of round out the flavors of the dish. And then we're gonna add some kind of a plant-based protein. Here I have a whole bunch of kidney beans and chickpeas. There's about 2 or 3 cups cooked in there. And then you wanna add about 6 cups of vegetables. Do a mixture of starchy, non-starchy. For my starch, I'm just using frozen butternut squash. I got some mushrooms. And then I just have a bunch of other things. I think there's some carrots, some zucchini, and some yellow peppers in there. So this thing is overflowing. We're gonna stir that all around. And we're also gonna add now some more seasonings. Here I have about 3 to 4 teaspoons of different seasonings. I've got garlic salt, rosemary, sage in there, and I'm gonna add salt and pepper to taste. So I'm doing this in an Instant Pot. I'm going to cook it for 15 minutes on manual. If you're doing this on the stove pot, bring it to a boil and leave it for about 40 to 45 minutes. Just keep on letting it cook until the vegetables have softened enough to your liking. So we cooked this for 15 minutes in the pressure cooker. And now we just wanna add, oh, look at that steam. Now we're gonna add our kale. Again, you could use spinach if you want. We'll mix it around. And I just wanna give it a few minutes for that just to soften inside of there. And then this delicious stew will be ready to consume. Oh, that smell is so inviting. And again, we just made this with what was left in the fridge. You could make a different soup every single week, just using whatever you've got. It is so comforting. Trying to get that perfect bite with a little bit of everything. It's like a warm hug inside of my body. It's rich and hearty and earthy from all those different vegetables and that butternut squash. The beans just kind of melt in your mouth. If you don't like stew, we can't be friends. You guys want some soup? Thanks for watching the video. Let me know in the comments down below which of these recipes you are most likely to make yourself, and if there's something surprising that you make in the Instant Pot that we didn't cover today. Hit that like button to let YouTube know to share this with other people. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do so down below and stick around because YouTube has this video all queued up for you to watch next. I don't know what it is. It's for you. It's a little gift. It's like a dessert to this. Maybe it was made in the Instant Pot.